I'm delighted to say joining us now is cardiologist Dr. Peter McCullough. He's also the Chief Scientific Officer for the Wellness Company and a great American. Doctor, it's great to have you back with us. I have to start with the bird flu because we're starting to see a media push on the story, and we're starting to see starting to sound a little government-like what they're reporting. I want to get your sense of just how severe the threat is, if it's severe at all.
Recall that this has really been telegraphed. The Global Vaccine Alliance, Gavi, said in 2021, bird flu will be disease X. We've had bird flu for decades. The Chinese have tried to vaccinate poultry, and that's backfired because the birds actually carry the virus more and spread it to other birds. Last year, the French tried to vaccinate even ducks. And once with the bird flu got into mallard ducks, it started really spreading around. Now we've had a case in West Texas. A man got conjunctivitis, said to be handling cattle, although he could have obviously had exposure to other farm animals. And his case made the New England Journal of Medicine this week. His bloodshot eyes, it was H5N1, highly pathogenic avian influenza. Over the decades, it rarely jumps to mankind, but when it has, it's had a very high mortality rate. And so what we know here is that the biggest threat to bird flu is going to be the birds themselves. Ag Director Sid Miller in Texas ordered the culling, or actually mass destruction, of millions of egg-laying hens from the largest egg producer in the country. I think we can expect more of this. The farmers actually get reimbursed from the government if they do this. And in my view, I think it's going to lead to a progressive mass culling of birds and animals.
A mass culling, is it a rational culling, would you say?
They used to just observe them and let the animals get natural immunity. Some will die, but get natural immunity. But there's the vaccine mania that we've seen take off here over the last several decades. And this attempt to mass vaccinate livestock, like I say, it's essentially backfired. Now, believe it or not, in 2021, a company, CSL, has already had a human bird flu vaccine FDA approved. That was when we didn't have any cases. It's almost as if the government is prepping us for a mass vaccination campaign of both the animal, livestock, poultry, and cattle, but as well as humans.
Well, we're having, you mentioned that the French vaccinating ducks. It doesn't sound like the vaccination program is going very well in terms of vaccines for animals and birds.
No, it doesn't. They're not sterilizing vaccines. So what it does is, in a sense, allow the animals to carry the virus around and spread it around more. So you're better off not vaccinating them. Just let the natural immunity sterilize the virus. Some animals will survive, some animals will not. But now the USDA is taking a different tack. They are encouraging, they put out emergency statements the end of April that we should have mass testing of livestock. So as we sit here today, there's mass PCR testing of poultry all over the country now. Can you imagine handling all these tests, coming up with positives, and then orders to kill them all?
Now, mass testing, I mean, we're talking about millions and millions of animals and birds. Is that even possible by that scale?
It is. The government is ramped up testing, vaccines. What we've done here at the Wellness Company is, we did have to respond to this. So we've extended our contagion kit, the home emergency kit that you can get, to include an antiviral against bird flu that would be effective, particularly if it started early. But we've advised farm workers and others just simply use a dilute iodine nasal spray or gargle if they come in contact with animals. The iodine actually kills the influenza. Just a few drops of iodine in some salt water works great, or iodine in scope or Listerine. But we're probably going to need to do some oral nasal hygiene so humans don't pick this up.
Right. I want to turn quickly to the issue of the revelation by that the State Department knew about the COVID-19 virus back in July of 2020, and we're just now hearing these specific dates through various means, but amongst them the FOIA request. Give us, is there any sense on your part that this was a mass cover up on the part of the United States government?
It looks like it. Representative Brad Wenstrup from Ohio, who's a doctor himself, has led the
Right.
coronavirus Select Subcommittee on investigations. They recently had Peter Daszak of the EcoHealth Alliance back on Capitol Hill because it appears as if he wasn't forthright with the committee to begin with. It turns out that this originates back with Dr. Ralph Barrick at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Anthony Fauci, who coordinated, funded all of the plans for this, and Peter Daszak, who shuttled the plans to China and outsourced the research in China. This was for the creation of SARS-CoV-2, the COVID virus that got us all sick, and then to prep for the vaccines. Recently, when Anthony Fauci testified in the House of Representatives under closed doors, I testified just 2 days after him, same group. The word was that Fauci ultimately conceded the reason to create SARS-CoV-2 was to get to mass vaccination. That was what their goal is, to get vaccines ahead of these changes in nature. It's almost like a giant science experiment that's gone very bad.
And it appears to be getting worse as we find out more and more about what our government hid from us, as we find out how wrong the government was about COVID-19, its treatment, which they all but ignored, as you raised at the time. You were at the forefront of bringing the public to a level of consciousness that allowed for dissent. I want to just say, Dr. McCullough, that this looks to me like an investigation on the part of, or whatever you want to call it, a series of hearings to educate the public right now about what is going on with vaccines, with these experiments, is what they appear to me at least to be, whether it's on bird flu, whether it is, in point of fact, trying to track down what is going on with our vaccines that we've already had manufactured. I mean, AstraZeneca doing a recall is historic stuff, is it not?
It is. There was a case in the UK of over 50 families who had loved ones have these horrible blood clots, a lot of them fatal after AstraZeneca. And there's a known warning on the vaccine. A lot of pressure on AstraZeneca. And then it was announced actually just recently worldwide, pulling them off the market. Its companion in the United States was the Janssen vaccine. They're both made by the same biodefense contractor, Emergent Biosolutions, outside of Baltimore. Both the adenoviral vaccines now off global markets. A lot of people are saying it's time for Pfizer, Moderna, and Novavax to go as well.
Dr. McCullough, as always, thanks for being with us. Dr. Peter McCullough, Chief Scientific Officer for the Wellness Company. Come back soon.
Thank you.